The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
As we start another week of the Clarence Bug Show, here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last opportunity, we had to spend some time with you at the end of last week. We start today's show with Louisiana news, and particularly news breaking this morning out of St. Tammany Parish. Longtime sheriff there, Jack Strain, a name that, if you followed politics in Louisiana and law enforcement for any amount of time, you know was a long-time fixture of law enforcement in that parish. Reading from WWL, the WWL website, a St. Tammany Parish jury convicted their former sheriff on rape charges after weighing evidence that Strain raped and molested multiple people over the course of decades. Over the 2-week trial, prosecutors portrayed Strain as a master manipulator and sexual predator, preying on young boys left in his care since he was a teenager. The article goes on to say that former Sheriff Jack Strain now faces mandatory life in prison for his crimes. Additionally, Jack Strain's legal problems are nowhere near over yet, as he still faces trial on federal charges. It is a sad occasion for the folks in St. Tammany that put their trust in Jack Strain for decades. It is a situation that unfortunately did not come to light prior to now. And one of the things that the prosecution stressed was that Jack Strain, through the office, viewed himself as above the law. And as most of us that love this country and our freedoms and our liberties always say, there's no one above the law. Again, Jack Strain found guilty on all charges. Interestingly, the prosecution said that other witnesses also came forward outside the scope of this trial, but they were confident enough that they had a strong enough case where they didn't need to subject additional individuals to going through the trauma of a trial. It is something I know, knowing personally so many men and women in law enforcement, I know it hurts deeply for the good people of law enforcement and the good people in city government, parish government, as the case may be, in St. Tammany. Hopefully, this will lead to healing and closure for the victims, and hopefully the parish now can move forward and put this behind them. It is easy, I guess, for us to say hopefully the victims can get past this now and enjoy some closure. Unfortunately, the reality of the matter is this is something that those individuals will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Hopefully, knowing that he will be held accountable in that regard will ease their suffering somewhat. Again, mandatory life. Sentencing is pretty much just a formality, but he faces spending the rest of his natural life behind bars. In other Louisiana news, the A-rated Zachary Parish school system, responding to an incident that happened a week ago, a stabbing, near fatal stabbing, on the campus of that A-rated school. As you are probably well aware by now, all across the country, we've seen increases in crime, and particularly dealing with education institutions. As a result, the Zachary school system reporting, at this point in the year, they've recorded 4 more reports of fights or individuals instigating fights than occurred a year ago. Now, I will leave to you to decide whether or not an increase of 4 incidents with the remainder of the year yet to unfold is something to be alarmed about. What I do want to do, however, is tip my hat to some folks. The Zachary School District for calling a community meeting to talk about this latest incident and what they need to do moving forward. Not shying away from the issue, giving parents, guardians, students, community members a clear, accurate picture of what's going on and what needs to be done moving forward in the future. Also, and this is, I don't know whether to say equally or more important, but important nonetheless. The fact that when this meeting was called, hundreds of parents and guardians showed up to answer the call. At the end of the day, Zachary High School is an A-rated, one of the top school districts in the state. And I would imagine you could probably put them up against other states around the union. But they didn't rest on those laurels. It takes parental involvement to achieve something like this and to continue to prosper in that regard. Interestingly, on the campus of Zachary High School, there are 3 school resource officers on the grounds full-time. Additionally, there are 100, get this, 170 closely monitored cameras on campus. 170. In addition, there's also what they call a gaggle. It is a tool that's used to analyze emails and correspondences in real time to alert parents about what's going on. I list all these things to say this. The school and the school system is doing everything conceivably possible in their power to keep the students safe. Now, as you well know, expecting the school to do it by itself is unrealistic and actually quite laughable. We've heard, and some agree, others don't, that's fine. We've heard that it takes a village to raise a child. And in this particular instance, the school system, and this is true not just in Zachary, but all across our state and all across our nation, at the end of the day, the school is only attempting to mold the product that we send them. If we send an unruly, undisciplined, not interested in learning individual into the classroom, it's unrealistic to expect that the school by itself will solve all the ills plaguing that particular child. It was encouraging that there were hundreds of parents and guardians to show up at this meeting. If we could simply take that and distribute it through every school district in our state, just imagine how much further along we would be educationally and as far as our society is concerned. Bottom line, y'all, it starts at home. Pure and simple. It starts at home. And when we are told, and in this case shown, that the school district and the school itself is doing everything within their power to keep our kids safe, when it doesn't happen, we need to look inward. Just saying. Now, as I'm fond of saying, some of y'all not going to get that till later. That's okay, as long as at some point you do get it. We're heading into our first break of today's show. It is, of course, Tuesday. And if you are new to the show, new to the station, new to the area, you may not be aware we've instituted a new segment on the show. It is entitled, Now That's Just Stupid. There's a little bit of a caveat there, though, however, because when you consider all the things that you can find in America these days that are flat out stupid, you have to be above and beyond to make the list. Second segment of today's show, it's another edition of Now That's Just Stupid. Just when you thought we as Americans couldn't get any more stupid, along comes the people we elect to serve us and the people we choose to entertain us. That's next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. In researching topics for the second segment of the Tuesday show, now that's just stupid, found myself with a long list of things, which is, on one hand, disheartening. On the other hand, it's par for the course. I mean, we've watched with increasing frequency, particularly on the federal level, individuals make decisions that are not, as the graphic will show you, not the typical STUPID. That would be ordinary, run-of-the-mill, garden variety, stupid. What we're talking about here requires a different spelling, so we made up a word. When you have your own show, you can do that. This is STOOPID, as in, now that's just stupid. We start with the supply chain crisis here in America. As you well know, the Biden-Harris administration has managed to flop around like a fish on dry land in response to the ever-worsening supply chain crisis. Here in America, there's an old saying, if you bought it, a truck brought it. Meaning, anything you buy pretty much, at some point, it had to be on a truck. Came over on a ship, was produced wherever, put the finished product in the hands of the people, requires trucks. And of course, with the supply chain crisis getting worse and worse and worse, we're already, because of the pandemic, 30% shy of the necessary drivers of these huge vehicles to get ourselves out of this mess. So in response and in an effort to fix the problem and get these goods into the hands of the American public, what does the Biden-Harris administration propose? Any company with 100 or more employees, vaccine mandate. Now, remember, the trucking industry right now has a 30% shortage of drivers. So the American Trucking Associations, Truckload Carriers Association, International Food Service Distributors Association, and other business groups have sent a letter to the Biden-Harris administration warning that this vaccine mandate of yours is going to totally wreck the trucking industry. These groups who do this for a living every single day are estimating that if the Biden-Harris vaccine mandates are allowed to proceed, they will lose 37% of their drivers. So to fix the supply chain problem, these yahoos are of the opinion, let's pursue a policy for an industry that's already 30% understaffed by introducing a mandate that will wipe out 37% of the available truckers. And yet, these are the people that are going to fix the problem. At this rate, the folks in California are already paying upwards of $4 a gallon for gas. It won't be long before they'll be paying $5 a gallon. And just think, we've got 3 years and 2 more months of this to look forward to. What do you have to look forward to? Yep. Stupid. Speaking of the liberal mindset and stupid, Alec Baldwin just can't seem to leave well enough alone. You've heard, I'm sure by now, the story of him accidentally, fatally shooting a cinematographer on the set of the movie he's working on entitled Rust. This weekend, again, this is how the liberal mindset works. This weekend he tweets, every movie from this point on needs to have a police officer on the set if there are real or, wait for it, insert stupid, if they're real or if they're fake guns. Now, first of all, why would you need a police officer on the set of a movie if the guns are fake? Number one, stupid. Number two, it has been 28 years since a fatal shooting on the set of a movie. So apparently the protocols that were in place have worked flawlessly until you came along, Mr. Baldwin. Now, let me say for the record, Alec Baldwin and I, our political leanings are as far apart as you can be. But at the same time, as despicable as some of the things he said about conservatives over the years, and just go back and read them, I wouldn't wish on anyone having to carry for the rest of their lives the fact that they took someone else's life. But at the end of the day, and this is how liberals think, had he simply abided by basic protocols of safety, we wouldn't be talking about this. He decided to point the weapon at an individual that wasn't even in the movie. He decided not to check the gun. But this is what liberals do. It's always somebody else's fault. Well, they gave me the gun and said it was okay. Did you look at it? Did you check to see if there was a round in the chamber? Did you look at it to try and ascertain whether it was a blank or a live round? Not only did he not do those things, but he violated the basic safety protocol of pointing the weapon at someone who, by the way, is not even in the movie, and then pulled the trigger. Now, say what you will about guns and safety, but at the end of the day, maybe I missed it. Maybe there are documented cases out there that Marty didn't tell me about, but I have yet to see a case where an inanimate object, a firearm, on its own took someone's life. But as liberals typically do, point the finger of blame somewhere else. It's never their fault. Now, and for 28 years, everybody else abided by the protocols, no problems. But when you decide that you don't need to follow the protocols, now it's somebody else's fault, and we can fix it if we just put a police officer on the set. I guess in hindsight now, maybe we could change the graphic, since they decided not to put it up in the truck today. We could change it from, now that's just stupid, to that's just liberal. About one and the same. And if you doubt the authenticity of that, answer this. When's the last time you've seen someone jump in the ocean in Florida and swim to get into Cuba? When's the last time you heard of someone selling everything they own in America and moving to Venezuela? Just a question. Just a question. Bottom of the hour break. Lee Harvey don't count. Lee Harvey Oswald don't count. Nope. That dog ain't gonna hunt, bud. That one ain't gonna hunt. Bottom of the hour break. How is America viewing what's going on in America? Sometimes we're slow, but eventually we get there. We'll talk about that next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, in this great republic of ours, the recent developments on the federal level particularly, the old phrase buyer's remorse immediately comes to mind. And you don't even have to be a politically astute person in America these days to know how disenchanted Americans are with government on the federal level. I mean, it literally is palpable. You just strike up random conversations these days with people in the checkout line, gas station, break room at work, whatever. And you don't get very far into the conversation before you realize there is some serious disenchantment in our country. It says a lot that typically, when a new administration takes over, there's this feeling of hope. There's a feeling of prosperity is just around the corner. There's a feeling of we are going to make whatever necessary corrections need to be made to restore our country on a path that most of us feel is worthy of treading on. In a mere 11 months, well, actually 10 months and change, we've seen a 180-degree reversal from what typically, normally happens in the aftermath of a presidential election. Now, to be fair about this, COVID-19 threw a monkey wrench in the machinery. Obviously, something the likes of which we've never encountered before. So you can expect that there will be those that will say, well, this is a result of COVID-19. Now, I will leave to you to decide how much merit there is to that argument. But there's also the train of thought that says this is a great opportunity to restore faith in our government. Most highly successful people in life will look at a situation and see a challenge. Regardless of the situation, they will see the challenge for what it is and then set about charting a course to overcome whatever those obstacles happen to be. In this particular instance, the Biden-Harris administration, it's hard to fathom that you could try so very hard to screw up so many different things. You know, the law of averages gives you 1 out of 10. Law of averages says if you do something 10 times, pretty much you're guaranteed to get right minimum one out of the 10 times. On every single issue, this administration has failed miserably. Not just failed, mind you, but failed miserably. As a result, the latest polls out, the Biden administration, America's lost faith in you. 37.8% of Americans, you heard me right, 37.8% of Americans think the man's doing a good job. Now, I could do a whole nother segment on that 37% that thinks he's doing a good job, but that's a different segment for a different day. 59% say the guy is doing a worse job than I ever thought possible. Now, what's interesting about this new poll from, wait for it, USA Today, arguably one of the most liberal national mags out there. Independents, who, by the way, helped Biden, wink, wink, win the 2020 election, 7-1 say the guy is worse than I ever thought he could be. 7-1. As a matter of fact, only 28%, just barely over a fourth of Democrats, mind you, say they want the guy to run again the next time around. When roughly 3/4 of your own party doesn't want you to run again, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. And yet, will they listen? Will Democrats / liberals / progressives get the message that America's about had it with this crap? Don't bet on it. Whatever you do, for God's sake, don't bet your money that these stupid people are going to wake up anytime soon. Marty says he'll take the under. What I call the BPE factor. Based on past experience, you can expect these wackos to go even further left. For example, we just talked about the pain at the pump for the American motoring public. You've seen gas prices go through the roof. And yet, Joe Biden is now considering shutting down another oil and gas pipeline. So let me get this straight. We are begging and blaming, you know what I told you about Democrats, liberals, how it's always somebody else's fault. Always point the finger of blame someplace else. Russia, Saudi Arabia, OPEC. Well, they're the reason why gas prices are so high. They're not producing enough fuel to keep the prices down. Yo, Hoss, back up the wagon, bruh. The first freaking thing you did when you got in the White House was to shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. You're now threatening to shut down another pipeline. Oh, and did I mention, prior to Brandon taking over the White House, we were energy independent. We didn't need oil and gas from anybody else. Donald Trump positioned us to the point where we had so much oil and gas, prices were low, and we were selling it to other people making money. But today, next time you go and stick that nozzle in your car and you finish pumping and you turn the key and the needle does this, damn thing didn't even move. What's up with that? Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, bruh. Thank you, Brandon. And he's not through yet. He's not through yet. It's not bad enough that you cancel Keystone. It's not bad enough you ruined our energy independence. It's not bad enough you're now thinking about shutting down another pipeline and killing Americans' wallets at the pump. And for those of you, my fellow Americans up north, northeastern seaboard, wait till you try to heat your home this winter. Sticker shock? Oh, it's coming. It's coming. And yet, these are the people that's going to fix your problems. You see now why we tried desperately to tell you? You see now how you have been hoodwinked, snookered, bam freaking boozled. And all you have to do is ask, you know what? Joe Biden was in public office for over 4 decades. What is the shining accomplishment that you can hold up and point to as something that Joe Biden, man, he knocked it out of the park on this one. Boy, Americans will forever be in his debt. Tell me one freaking thing. And yet, more of you clowns, because you're a clown right along with him, more of you clowns voted for this clown. Maybe that explains why it's a clown show. More than any other president in history. How's that working out for you, Captain? Just a question. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, right where you've got it, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Mandafine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road, Gonzales.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing, on-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, life is an amazing journey. And I'll never forget a dear departed friend said something once that really stuck with me. Those of us that are members of the community of faith, we place a premium on our, quote, testimonies, meaning what you've been through in life and how it shapes where you are and where you are trying to go in the future, many times is very dependent upon your life experience. When it comes to politics, in recent memory, we've watched any number of groups and individuals have to face the reality that what they've been doing is not to their benefit. It's no secret. I'm not about to drop any earth-shaking epiphany on you when I say people of color, black folk particularly, have been arguably the most loyal part of the Democrat base for decade upon decade upon decade upon decade. Black folks have bought into the Democrat narrative and supported them unwaveringly, unflinchingly, almost at a level of being subconscious. Don't even think about it. We just support you because you're a Democrat. Well, in recent memory, any number of people of color have started to question, what are we getting out of this? Our unwavering, never faltering, diehard support of this one party, how's that working out for us? I mean, we are, historically, the least educated, the most incarcerated. We are more likely than any other group to be the victim of violent crime. We have, in overwhelming numbers, more single-parent households than any other ethnic group in this country. We have lowest employment numbers, and I could sit here and just go on and on and on and on. Now, the mainstream media is not going to tell you this because they have a vested interest in keeping you where they have you. But there is hope. Get your foot off my neck, Marty. Get your foot off. I ain't through talking. Get your foot off. Black folks are waking up in droves. A new poll out shows that, and I just told you, Joe Biden's approval rating is now below 38%, 37.8%. And that's from USA Today, one of the most left-leaning mags out there, okay? Their numbers, not mine. But according to a more recent poll, the largest drop of support for Joe Biden comes from, wait for it, people that look like me. Die-hard Democrats. In February, 72% of black folk said, oh, Joe's doing a good job. 72% in February. Since then, a 20% drop. It's also down among Hispanics. Now, what does that tell you? I don't know about you, but it tells me that black people in this country are waking up to the reality of the Democrat Party and how their policies affect them. After all this talk, after all this prophesying and promising and this, that, and the other, still, the least educated, the most incarcerated, still, hands down, far and away, the most single-parent households and the most, statistically, aborted babies. Still, the most illegal guns and illegal drugs in our community. Still, the highest unemployment, and the list goes on and on and on. There is an old adage that says there's always a silver lining to every dark cloud. I'll put it another way. One of my favorite bands of all time, Tower of Power, has a song that says, you got to go through it to get to it. Sometime, life, being what life is, will subject you to the harshest of realities. That's just a part of life. Comes along with the territory. Nobody ever told you or promised you that this thing we call life would be easy. If they told you that, well, you know not to believe anything else they ever tell you because they lied straight to your face. Nobody ever said it would be easy. But the true measure of an individual is not the adversity they encounter, it is what they do after the fact. These numbers spell some serious problems for Democrats and their base. And AOC will never admit it. Joe Biden is incapable of understanding it. It is not going to get better anytime soon. Now, they're going to continue to flood y'all with propaganda. They are going to continue to hide stories of importance from you. They're going to continue to spin things to run cover for the people who are devastating our communities. But you know what? Speaking of old adages, you can fool some of the people some of the time. And they've managed, I'll grant them that, they have managed to fool a whole lot of black folk for a mighty, mighty long time. But you know what? There's nothing quite like the feeling of needing a nap, getting one of those good, hard, sound sleeps. And when you wake up, you're energized. When you wake up, you are ready to take on the world. When you wake up, you say, you know what? I'll be good for a while before I need to sleep again. I can only hope, for the sake of the soul of my country and this community that has tirelessly supported individuals that obviously at this point don't have your best interest at heart. It's a shame what has happened in the past. I can only hope that we will resolve from this day forward that it will never, ever happen again. Just saying. My time's up, and I gotta go. But this day, maybe more so than any other in history, I give it to you. You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.